All right, guys, we are ready to roll. Game number 1 of our finals are about to start down, and they are figuring out exactly what they want to draft. Finals, best of 3. Finally, we do have a little bit more meat on the bones. You don't have to put your best foot forward. You can just do your best and then reevaluate and try to do it better. So, I'm the FourCourtJester. With us today, the Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 8 finals. It will be glorious gaming with, well, something of an interesting different roster. Up against Cloud9 Maelstrom, Dunk Train, and crew. And it does look like the first ban is going to go the way of Maelstrom. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 is getting underway. And we're going to jump straight here into the draft because, once more, it will be the red team. First picking, first banning. Tychus is out. He cannot be picked. He is a global banned, and it will be a Tassadar ban. On the way of Cloud9. We are going to the Cursed Hollow. It is the movie they're playing in the background. Very good work. Those map trailers are absolutely awesome. But coming into this, yeah, Tassadar. A lot of windy curves, a lot of areas that you can use the Oracle for information advantage. You can, of course, get the bird's eye view of some of the, well, more windy areas, some of the more choke points, and it also deters any kind of stealth. So banning out the Tassadar with the Tychus global ban, it means that, of course, we will have 100% picker ban rate fulfilled so far with the first ban, Glorious Stitches, because we do not want to give that away. And the first pick here for Maelstrom is actually going to be into the Arthas. So Arthas has been a 100% pick so far from Maelstrom. They have also taken the Tassadar with it, but they did not want to give that away, it seems. And, not bidding out the Stitches with the first ban because you are the first pick does kind of force the other team to react in that regard. It is a very much a Kassadin kind of situation here for League of Legends. Flip side, though, Vala is going to be the first pick up from Glorious. So with the Tychus out, Vala has become a very big first pick for both of these teams. You need that range DPS. You need to solidify that. And if it's not a Tychus, it's usually a Vala. But now with the Tychus out of it as well, likely to see a Falstead. And honestly, it's really hard to say no to a Falstead on this map. The mobility factor, you can still get Bribe on him, although it's a bit more of a toss-up these days between Bribe and Power Throw. But it is still a very valid DPS option. But that also now leads us into an interesting scenario. Will you complement it with Siege and Specialists? Will you complement it with Melees? We've seen both strategies actually now. We have seen Zaratools, we've seen Thralls, we've seen bands of Kerrigan up against Maelstrom actually in our last 2 games. So we might actually see a Kerrigan Arthas roaming comp coming down the line if Maelstrom so chooses. Now they don't have to pick it now, and somehow I don't think Glorious is going to pick it because they don't have Glaurung anymore. That is definitely one of the bigger roster changes that I've noticed here. So yeah, I don't know. Thrall, Zeratul, Illidan, Kerrigan, those are your bigger melees these days. Very likely the Tychus. Oh, and say it, there's the Tychus pick coming out as well. Glorious, they need themselves that frontliner. Tychus has really risen with the last patch. The Chen 1 second cast, 10-second interrupt on that Storm Earth and Fire. Definitely trouble. So, yeah, he's basically out. I haven't seen him in a high meta match since patch, so that kind of sucks. I like the Chen play. Chen play was really fun. But on the flip side, Nazeebo is going to go into that back line, and we have the Uther Arthas now picked up here as well. So Cloud9 going for a very solid combo there. I still suspect we're going to have a Kerrigan on the back of all of this because that has been the big ban up against Maelstrom today. But with a Kerrigan, Arthas roaming, you put Nazeebo in a lane with an Uther, and that actually won't work. So Uther in a lane, Nazeebo in a lane, and then they need somebody else just to sit there. We still have Brightwing and Falstead on the table. Very likely, one of those 2 picks are going to be right here for Glorious. If they want those heals and the mobility, you got to go with the Brightwing. They can't go with the Uther now, and I suspect they will not take a Malfurion over a Brightwing if it's still available. They might actually even take both. Go for the double mobility factor to get themselves that other ranged DPS. Basically, just force no assassins here for Cloud9. And as I say that, it looks like that will be the case. It will be a Falstead now to join the Vala. So very solid backline here for Glorious. And without an Uther, it has to either be a Malfurion or a Brightwing or they're just going to leave that for last. I highly doubt Cloud9 will actually take a double support. So you could actually use this last pick here to try to grab something a bit more important, something that Cloud9 doesn't want, like a Kerrigan. But I don't see a Kerrigan fitting into this. And if you want to have a range advantage, you got to go with something ranged. And they will actually go for the double mobility. They will solidify in that right wing. So Cloud9 has been denied their bribes. You're not going to be putting him on a Nazebo. He needs that tankiness factor into the late game. We're not going to see a Lily. Raynor, I think, can still actually take bribe. Although I don't have that on 100% authority. But let's take a quick look, loading up Heroes Fire in a separate tab. In terms of a bribe, though, from anyone else, Murky, nope, not going to happen there. Abathur, I think he actually does not have his anymore either. Yeah, that kind of just leaves you a little bit high and dry. Well, you still have bribe on the Raynor. So you could actually get yourself a ranged DPS and a bribe in that regard, but you will be sacrificing Seasoned Marksman, so probably, again, not going to be seeing that. If I have to take a guess, knowing Cloud9 Maelstrom, they're going to pick a hammer on the back of this, or a Zagara. They need that ranged, and wham! Look at that. Who's a god? Who's a god? Kerrigan's a god. That's exactly right. She's been banned twice against him, but now Cloud9 Maelstrom, they finally got that Kerrigan pick. And Kerrigan, Uther, Arthas, that's a very scary front line. She's going to be jumping in with the rate combos, with that Impaling Blade and the Rewind on the back of that. Big Divine Storms, big... Wow. What? Okay. Either way, you got a really good CC comp with these guys. You throw in Zombies, throw in Ravenous, and you're good. They're going to add a Precision Strike on top of that. So this could actually be a phenomenal wombo from Cloud9. But, you know, we talk about you need those ranged assassins. Never, ever thought I would see a Nova again. But, hey, when Falstad and Vala are on the other team and Tychus is banned, I guess you got to go back to basics. So we will have that stealth. I would not be surprised to see Glorious actually pick up a Zeratul here, but again, they don't have a Glorong to play it because he's no longer on the Glorious team. So, I mean, it still would fit the Void Prison to just disrupt the Wombo, reposition. They need... Yeah, they have a support, they have a tank, they got the Tychus, or the Tyrael, they got the Brightwing. A Zeratul would fit in well here. If it's not going to be a Zeratul, it's going to be a Raynor or a Zagara, because they need some kind of big sieging push. They kind of need somebody that can solo their lanes reasonably well, if not completely well. But you also need somebody that doesn't die to Nova Burst. I mean, late game Nova Burst, we don't have Rewind, or I don't even think you see an Overdrive like anymore at all. Although with this Wombo, it's a possibility. You have to be very worried about your Falstad. But it's going to be a frontline pick from Glorious. Glorious is saying, glory to the death metal. And, well, it's going to be an ETC. This is, again, they're looking to disrupt the combo. It's an anti-initiation pick, essentially, with that. So they got the bigger front line. They can augment the heals from Brightwing with the heals from ETC. Give readying up there in the chat, and yeah, I think it's a big initiation reset with the mosh pit, with the face melt, with the power slide, the stuns. It could really disrupt the big wombo here from Cloud9. Also, I've been seeing a lot more ETC since patch again because Chen is basically out of it. They fixed the Miradon regen, so he's no longer 21 hit points a second. He's back to 2. So not the biggest of tank choices these days. You know, with Stitches basically permaban, you're basically back to Arthas, Tychus, and ETC. And I was watching Kings of the Storm, I think, yesterday, and they had a whole bunch of ETC picks out there as well. So, Glorious going to show us what they can do with this double tank front line. They got the 2 ranged assassins in the back. They do have 2 bribes over top of Maelstrom. So we'll have to see if that actually comes into effect at all. Nova play coming back here for Maelstrom. I have to wonder, is this going to be a dump train Nova? And I'm also curious, who's been playing Kerrigan on Cloud9 Maelstrom? Because the Kerrigan pick has been banned twice and now finally picked up when she's not on the chop block. And the roaming comp, I mean, it's going to be, I have to assume at this point, it's going to be a double roam of the Arthas and Kerrigan. But if it's not, then it's going to be Nazebo off in a lane, with Kerrigan and Nova roam. I mean, it's going to be a Kerrigan roam. Is Nova going to be in a lane by herself? Not entirely too sure. But, you know, we have a lot of options here for Cloud9, so I'm curious to see what the strategies will be by the end of the game. Either way, we're jumping right on in. Cursed Hollow, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 of, that is actually not your semifinals. It is your finals. So Cup number 8 finals, game number 1, 0-0 for the scoreboard. Curious to see how this will actually go down. So either way, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I know I've had a few new follows today. Much appreciated. And I'm not really a big fan of solo casting. I love bouncing off people, especially with some good epic partners, but unfortunately just did not work out. So your presence here definitely reaffirms, and I'll be taking all feedback after the cast as well. Left-hand side, these guys have been doing some work. They're here into the finals. Didn't really get to cover much of them today myself, but Team Glorious, which I do have correctly on the thing. Awesome. Zizix going to be playing out with Coffin Luck, Syracuse, Protege, and Near-Rack. On the flip side, though, the dominant monsters of the scene, Cloud9 Maelstrom, Dunk Train, King Caffeine, Zuna, Kenma, and Bicep. So it will be Biceps in the lane, and it will be Kenma. Not entirely too sure who of these three is going to be the big roam. Is it going to be Zuna Dunk? Is it going to be Zuna Calf? It will be Calf and Dunk. It is a Dunk Train Nova, though. So that is very exciting. I haven't seen a Dunk Train Nova since she basically got nerfed. So, Biceps in the bottom lane with that Nazebo mask. No Nazebro, though. So, oh well, it's gonna be. And we do trade out actually the watchtowers to the opposite sides. Red's actually controlling top, whereas Blue's controlling bottom. It's kind of funny. It will be the tanks just doing out up top. Kedma's going to come in here, a little bit of damage down top of Coffin Luck, but I don't think he's falling for it. He's nervous. He knows there's a Kerrigan somewhere. He knows there's a Dunk Train somewhere. Dunk is being very careful. Well, that regen globe just kind of sealed the deal. Coffin Luck's like, all right, they're in the bush. And we're basically just kind of holding out, I think, at this point. So, nope, they're going to jump in anyways. I saw that on the minimap. Shouldn't have left the lane. Kenma with the stun, and then Zuna coming in, Dunk Train with the snipe as well. Again, you got to be very careful with your false dead. This is a very kind of kill the false dead kind of call. The late game is just going to be absolutely burst. It's actually very sickening. So Biceps is trying to deal with this bottom lane, who is not roaming. It will be, of course, the tank support DPS, basically one of everything down here. And they left Dunk to go get the watchtowers, so he's no longer there. Coffin Luck very, very hesitant to just even leave those towers, but that won't stop them. If they get a stun off on top of this, it will be it. Coffin Luck's not going to give them that opportunity. King Caffeine is actually losing out a little bit here in the top. He has a lot of mana, though. He can just Frostborn Hunger back a lot of it as well. So he should probably just heal himself and just kind of deluded into thinking that it's not looking so good. This could be a problem for Proteges. Yeah, the sword is going to come out. He's trying to just juke out as best he can. Zombie Wall comes in. I think that was an Envenom. We got double Envenom, double gathering power here. Now that I'm looking at it, wow, that's very symmetrical. But we did get one heal there on top of Protege, so he will not drop. Junk Train's going to come down here, get off a few shots on top of Near-Rack, and he's going to be okay. Back and forth. Tanks up top are still going neck and neck. It's like hitting each other with wet noodles, but King Caffeine has the range advantage with that Death Coil. I think he's looking to either throw it out and try to zone out Zizix, or he's just going to use it to self-heal. And looks like he just used it to self-heal instead. Zizix, of course, can just get rupees later on. He does have Echo Pedal, though, so a little bit extra damage. Zuna's going to jump in, but the power slide out. Zizix will be A-okay. Does not have a fountain. And with this tribute up here, that's actually going to be a bad spot for Zizix. Dunk Train is going to be the one actually to take out this tribute virtually uncontested. Near-Rack did zone himself back into the top to try to help out, but it's too little too late. Let's take a quick look at some of the talents. Power Throw into Charged Up. Lightning Rod strikes 2 additional times. Very likely that will go with the Static Shield here at level 13, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. We do got the Bribe and the Power Throw, of course. So as I said, the False Head sometimes not going to be taking Bribe anymore, not with that Power Throw option. We do got the Bribe, however, on the Brightwing with that Mobility Factor and Purge Evil Retribution for the Tyrael. We're still going to go Hot Shots, Anti-Armor Shells as it's now called, but it was nerfed. It's no longer 310%, it's no longer even 300%. It is 250% there for our Nova. So she does attack a little bit faster, hits a little less harder, but it's still overall very solid, big, bursty pick, especially if she can stack up the Gathering Power, complements very nicely into some auto attacks. We do once more have Mules for our Mazigo, and King Caffeine has to deal now with these rocks into the top. Zizek's just trying to make sure that as many rocks fall on the Lich King's head as possible. King Caffeine has to be a little bit wary. He has no support whatsoever, and Tribute is spawning into the bottom lane. A little bit of contention going back and forth. Not the target they expected to hit, but Zuna does actually catch Vala in the collateral damage. The big body blocks coming out from Kenma, and that will be a 2-kill lead now. Cloud9, 3-kill lead, sorry. Cloud9 up against the Glorious. And top lane, King Caffeine, he came back after that fountain. He's actually doing some big work there on top of Zizix, but it will still not be a kill. What else is going on? We got Cleanse, Rune Tap, the adaptation, so Ravage can be used to jump to allies. ETC has actually finally lost his duel. Oh, so close! But so far, Arthas will actually drop, and we got the one Siege Giant with 27 hit points on the back of this, just chucking rocks at that tower. It's not going to get a tower kill, but, you know, those wet noodles eventually finally did slap someone to death, so Arthas is going to be down, but there's no tribute up, and level 10 now achieved. A half level or so advantage going the way of Cloud9. But I don't know why Captain Luck is doing so much up against Dunk. That's going to be a precision, and that will be a kill. I think the Impaling Blades actually might have solidified it anyways, but as I said, it's going to be Precision Strike on this combo. Look at this combo. Maelstrom to jump in with the Rewind on top of those abilities, lock people up. Ravenous from afar. Divine Storm. Just to be in the thick of things. And then, of course, Army of the Dead here from King Caffeine, just to make life difficult. Zizix with that stun, though, comes in. Zizix, of course, does have himself. He's going to die to minions. Oh, my. The mosh pit was real. Caught all three of them. Proteges now, unfortunately, on the wrong end of this one. Syracuse is going to come up. King Caffeine. It's really hard to kill him, especially with the nuclear, to just keep him alive. And it will only be the kill on the Battle Cow. I'm pretty sure the Battle Cow died to just the arrows from the minions because they were not in that. That was truly a good mosh pit, but it came just too little too late. Not his fault, though, because they did hit 10. Basically, immediately, he used it as soon as he hit 10. 3 for 3 for the curses, though. We're now going to take out this top gate, likely transition to the boss here from Cloud9, and they're going to just put up as much pressure as they can. Strafe, nope. Rain of Vengeance, Hinterland's Blast, Blink Heal, Mosh Pit, and Judgment is going to be the return heroics here for Glorious, as they have to basically defend as best they can during this curse. Biceps with a little bit of damage bottom. Nova's not exactly the best split pusher because of those anti-armor shells, but she's going to do her best. Meanwhile, the rest of her team looks like they're going to be okay, but Vala is going to be dead in the water. Here comes the Judge. They're looking for the kill on top of King Caffeine, and they're probably going to get it. We did just hit 13, though, here from Kenma, and Kenma's able to just sprint on out. Zuna, however, is going to be left to the Vultures, and down he goes. I don't know why Biceps bothered to even come up here. Should have been split pushing into the mid, but curse, 10 seconds left. I think the only fort to go down will be Dunk Trains, because this should actually get cleaned up top as well. Top and Luck, they're cleaning up the mid, and they're about to get those towers back and firing. It will only be that one fort advantage, but still, it's a full level, almost 2 for Cloud9. Advanced Cloaking on Nova. An interesting choice. Usually, from what I can recall last time, you see like decoy spam coming out, or where the decoys do damage, or decoys have, I don't know, decoys do something in that tier. And sometimes you see that double sprints, the Relentless, and of course the Rewind from Kerrigan. Who is the Kerrigan player? Zuna. Zuna has apparently been playing the Kerrigan. So, what else is going on? We do have 13 now for Glorious, so they're on the same talent tier. It is basically the pure multi-shot build here from the Vala. We got some Merc camps actually being captured side to side. Static Shield, as we said, so Static Shield goes great with charged up because the extra shots gives him shields. It adds a little bit more survivability to a hero that desperately needs it. I'm curious to see if we're going to go Stone Shield at level 16 there with the Falstead, or I'm not entirely sure you can actually take it anymore, but Zuna's going to get blown up, 4-man, 2 of them on those ults. able to take down the Queen of Blades, so she's going to be dead in the water. We do got the rewind on the Polymorph, so Critterize going to be the 16 there. Relentless for the stun reduction on ETC. Not entirely too sure what a 16 talent looks like on ETC right now, but a really nice combo picks him up 2 kills with the Nova. And, only just the 1 kill, sorry, with the Nova, because Biceps is way in the back. For some reason, I thought I saw him way too much farther forward, and Protojays does not have a shield. He will drop to the poison of Nazeebo, or perhaps one of these Venoms. We do have Cloud9. They're pushing forward. The sprint forward, looking for that zombie wall. It doesn't quite get Circus or Coffin Luck, but it was enough to take home the Battle Cow. He's actually going to be dead in the water, and it was not exactly the best of returns here for Glorious. They got the kill on the Kerrigan, which is great, and then they were able to instigate basically the Nova. We still got the Precision Strike ready to go. Where did she use it? She used it top to clear up the creep wave. And so she wasn't even in that fight, but 5-on-4, we were still able to clean up much better here from Cloud9. The positioning there on Biceps in that Ravenous, which is absolutely huge. 100% phenomenal. So they use now the map advantage to go grab a boss, which is actually going to land them very nicely here into a tribute. Coffin Luck and crew are actually funneled right now. King Caffeine has just been keeping an eye on them, but King Caffeine could be in a little bit of trouble himself. Here comes the power slide. That's going to be the face mount into the zombie wall. Not what we needed right there, Mr. Nazeebo. But Biceps, he's going to get actually charged out. Nice counter stun there from Kenma, but Tyrael, he's going to be the collapse target. He's down. Biceps is now down. He does... Biceps? No, Tyrael. Tyrael's now down. He explodes on top of Kenma. Biceps is dead in the water as well, however. And Dunk Train, just keeping an eye on where these guys are actually going to rotate. Looks like to mid, because we've got a gate there ready to go for a kill. I'd actually be surprised if they didn't go for the boss at this point. They got 2 dead for at least another 10 seconds, and they got all the DPS up. I mean, the only person down here from Glorious is the Tyrael, and Tyrael's not the biggest instrument of war when it comes to taking down some of these golems. So here comes the decoy from Dunk Train. Does notice them there. That hit points on the golem getting a little bit low. Snipe there on top of Zizix. Here comes the precision strike, but we did get the shields onto Zizix, and that's going to lead him into a pretty massive mosh pit on top of Kenma, on top of Zuna. Kenma with the shield. He has to use that protective as best he can. Trades himself out for the Vala. That was a dodge and a half, Mr. Zuna's. Coffin Luck does actually miss out. Nirak now going to be dying in the back of it. Zizix is still going. Protege is here now joining the crew, but yeah, Falstead just gets hunted down between the Arthas and the Kerrigan. Boss has reset. It was not a successful boss for Glorious, and this is very likely now going to go the way of Cloud9. So Dunk Train is actually making his way down to the tribute. He's not going to be there for the boss. Again, auto attacks from Novas. Kind of sucks creeping and split pushing. But Proteges and ETC are not even going to contest it. So 2-3 now. 5 tributes in a row for Cloud9 as they do eventually take down this boss. And that boss is likely to seal the fate of this top fort. We do have some counter jungles being done. Zizix and crew were able to actually get these giants. So the giants will start ticking away a little bit more here on top of this boss. But I don't know. It's a half health fort, and this is a boss that has some pretty mean auto attacks. So I'm still sticking that it is actually dead meat. Both teams do have their 16. Take a quick look. Blood for Blood, Overdrive, Critterize, Stone, Skin, and there's the Holy Ground. So the Holy Ground for the blocking. The blocking from the sword could actually be really good. You know, choke points like here, over, you know, just there's a lot of narrow areas that you can actually totally 100% block out your opponents. Kenma is actually going to get face checked right into that bush. He's still going. He's still alive. Took a lot to actually kill him out. We saw the precision strike there. The snipe here on top of Proteges. Here comes Zuna. He gets 1. He gets 2. He's able to take home at least the 2 kills. Looking for Vala. Where is the Vala? She's going to be top there with the Coffin Luck, but she's going to get sniped out. 3-4-1 right now. We're looking really good here on the hat trick. Dunk Train trying to get in position for those snipes, but wow, we didn't actually have anything for the Falstead. He's able to just fly on out. There was no stuns ready to go. I'm not entirely too sure where the Battle Cow died. There he is. He was soloed out. Well, maybe not soloed, but Zuna, I think, took home the kill on that one. Zuna Oh, just unfortunately could not deal with the Queen of Blades. And 6 for 6, that's 2 curses in a row. This is going to be some keeps because the death timer is at 13 minutes. While not game ending at this point of the game with the pressure that Cloud9 has been putting on, it is definitely hurt. I'm just going to watch it die in a very slow death. So the level 16 talents for Cloud9, Cripple Shot, so the vulnerability from the Nova coming out there. Specialized Toxin, Hardened Focus, Stone Skin, and Blood for Blood on the Kerrigan. So not only does she have a good lockup combo with the rewind, she now has the Blood for Blood on top of it. Percentile damage. It was probably one of the factors that actually killed out the ETC, because it would not only slow him down, it would bring his massive hit points right back down. Great hinterland blast though. Good combo there with the Proteges on that Tyrio. Kenma is in the back. Proteges, however, gets in Venom. He is going to drop. He's now going to try to blow up on top of Zuna. He will get it. Biceps, however, with the counter. Ravenous. 1, 2, 3. They're falling like bowling pins. That's 4. And now we're looking for that snipe dunk terrain. Brings it home. Bottom lane apparently went out with that keep during that curse as well, and this team wipe is basically sealing the deal, as we are going to take game 1 in convincing manner. 2 levels up. Cloud9 Maelstrom looking fantastic today in today's cup, and that will be all she wrote for game number 1 of this best of 3. Red team victory indeed. Nice combo from them. The Nova I had a little bit of doubts on, but it's a big map. The stealth came out strong. Precision strike on top of the Wombo. Some absolutely beautiful Ravenuses coming out from Biceps. And yeah, the double roam early got a kill on top of the Falstad. And I think at the second tribute, actually, the combo was able to even take home a Vala kill. So it was just straight up tribute dominance from Cloud9 Maelstrom, as they were able to take some very convincing team fights, some very convincing kills, got them into a nice advantage with the levels. They were able to utilize the level 10 window to pick up 1 kill on the EPC early, and that led them into basically win. I mean, there was never a team fight that they traded out poorly on, so very big kudos to them. Game number 1 now in the bag. They're going to do their map striking, and when we come back, game number 2, will we see the Kerrigan ban? We've seen multiple Kerrigan bans against Cloud9 Maelstrom. Now that Glorious has a bit of a taste, perhaps they're going to join on that bandwagon, because if it's not, likely to be the Stitches Tassler that we saw. But, you know, the map will also come into it. The draft, of course, will come into it. So, once again, when we return, game 2 will be live and ready here. We go for Go4Heroes Americas Cup number 8 finals here with FourCourtJester.